Yesterday, I was called out by a far left-wing website called Media Matters. They are very well known for calling out people like Jesse Waters, Dan Bongino, some of the more higher voiced and more recognized people on right-wing media. And so when they called me out, along with a number of other homesteaders, and called us a bunch of conspiracy nuts, I was like, I finally made it. I finally have reached a certain level to be attacked by Media Matters. I don't think I've ever been more proud. And I know pride goeth before the fall, so I'm going to keep it all in context and keep a level head about this. Okay, I won't forget about the little people. But all seriousness, this is absolutely ridiculous. Some of the claims that they leveled against us. So I want to go through that with you and I don't know if YouTube will allow me to keep this video on their website, because we're going to talk about some keywords that, might trigger some people, some of the blue-haired keyboard commandos over at the YouTube land. And so just in case, I'm going to put this video over at rumble.com. If you're not subscribed to us or following us over at Rumble, you should be. Rumble.com, you can find us there. The link is over at my website. There's a direct link on the main page where you can find that Rumble link over there and go visit our page and then subscribe. Okay, now, also Twitter. Make sure you follow us on Twitter. Okay, let's go ahead and get into the article, and we'll begin from there. Over at Media Matters for America, it begins like this. It says, viral right-wing homesteading influencers are demonizing migrants and pushing nativist conspiracy theories. Homesteading content and groups are popping up across right-wing social media platforms. Several viral right-wing homesteading and farming influencers are pushing anti-immigrant conspiracy theories and demonizing migrants to their hundreds of thousands of followers across social media. These conspiracy theories come as the broader right-wing media are increasingly attacking migrants and whipping up hysteria over the flimsy migrant crime narrative, and Republican lawmakers are advocating for laws that make it easier for Americans to kill undocumented people. So all of these migrant crimes are just flimsy. You're just a narrative. They're not really happening. You're just making this stuff up. It's a conspiracy theory. It says the homesteader lifestyle, which these influencers proudly promote and base their content on, is not exclusively a right-wing phenomenon. Crunchy culture, which is the foundation of the homesteading movement, is deeply rooted in anti-government sentiment and anti-modernism, which strives for independence from the mainstream. The movement broadly disavows cultural relevance and focuses on life and survival without government interference. People have survived for thousands of years without government. How crazy is that? Often choosing to settle in rural areas with plenty of room to grow food, raise animals, and raise children. Because we don't want you raising children without government influence. Subscribers to this movement promote self-sufficiency. How horrible. And some advocate for traditional gender norms as well, aligning themselves with the adjacent tradwife sect that has been gaining popularity within right-wing circles for romanticizing anti-feminism. A faction of these influencers also produce content around doomsday preparation and the supposed upcoming collapse of society, which often leans into deep conspiratorial thinking. So before we go any further, we're a bunch of conspiracy theorists, and we're talking about doomsday and the collapse of society. Guys, we're almost $35 trillion in debt now. That is not sustainable. That will lead to collapse. I remember a day when Nancy Pelosi, a long time ago, was ranting and raving about how there was a budget deficit under George W. Bush of $400 billion. Here's her own website right now. You can find the article back in the archives of her own website. $400 billion deficit under George Bush, and how this was absolutely reckless and irresponsible of the president to allow a $427 billion deficit. Guys, do you know what our deficit is now? The budget deficit right now is almost $2 trillion. And Nancy Pelosi is completely quiet about it. But I'm just a conspiracy theorist. See, on the one side, you have a $400 billion deficit, which is not good. I'm not trying to make excuses for old George, GW. But I'm just trying to say we have a $2 trillion deficit now, and nobody is calling that out on the left wing. That's not a conspiracy theory. That's unsustainable. That will allow throughout history, I can read a history book, Media Matters, that will lead to collapse. $35 trillion in debt, and they're saying another $20 trillion coming up. That's insane. That will ruin and destroy society. But let's continue with the article, and it goes first into a number of these homesteaders. It says examples of right-wing homesteading influencers pushing anti-immigrant conspiracy theories and attacking immigrants. And they have here listed the prepared homestead Travis Maddox. And so I've met Travis a few times. He's a good guy, and he's pushing all these things that, are conspiracy theories and talking about minorities and how racist that is. And so if you haven't checked out his channel, check out his channel. Then you have, as you scroll down, the Patriot Nurse, of course, she's pushing a self-sufficiency, and she's a homesteading influencer. And she's talking about how demonizing all of these immigrants coming in and how this is horrible for our demographics. And she's just talking about common sense stuff. And then, of course, you come to an American homestead, Zachary Bauer, another homesteading influencer and the lead educator. And this link goes to my LinkedIn profile over at linkedin.com. At an American homestead pushed a conspiracy theory about migrants in a video titled, "Is Joe Biden Now Arming Migrants?" on his page. In the video, Bauer shows a clip of a woman who claims that the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms and Explosives is giving an exemption to illegal immigrants to be able to purchase firearms. This is a false claim. And this false claim link right here goes to USA Today and their fact check section. And if you don't know anything, USA Today could tell you that night's dark and day's light, and you should question that and not believe it. Okay, now... According to the way this reads, an exemption to illegal immigrants to be able to purchase firearms. And the way that reads, that is actually true. They are not giving an exemption to illegal immigrants to be able to purchase firearms, but the people they are letting in, the people they are allowing into our country, are not labeled as illegal immigrants. They're labeled as legal aliens, asylums, or asylees. And they are, in fact, allowed to buy guns. Let's take a look at the websites. Over at the ATF's website, an alien legally in the U.S. is not prohibited from purchasing firearms unless the alien is admitted into the U.S. under a non-immigrant visa, meaning someone just coming to visit the United States. You're not an immigrant. Here's your visa. Come on in, but you can't buy guns. But if you're an asylum, an alien legally, because you're now an asylee, you're now a legal alien and you are not prohibited from purchasing firearms. Over at Quora.com, it says, since an asylee is a non-immigrant, yes, federal law allows them to purchase firearms. Over at Immigration.com, it says an asylee is not a non-immigrant, thus, the federal law permits the purchasing and owning of a gun. But I'm a conspiracy theorist. I don't know how to read, obviously. Guys, and the reason we're saying this stuff is because we can read a history book all throughout history. Different cultures have invaded other cultures by immigration. This is a known historical fact. It has happened many, many times. You can't beat your enemy militarily on the field, and so what you do, you immigrate en masse. And our country is allowing that immigration en masse and giving them weapons. It's almost like they want this to happen. It's almost like they want to destroy America.
Change has come to America.
Other homestead influencers include Riverside Homestead Life. I have not watched too many of his videos, but rest assured I will go check them out now. Appalachia Homestead with Patera was also mentioned as one of these crazy people who are out there trying to spread misinformation. And, the Gubba Homestead, I follow her on Twitter. She's a viral homestead influencer. She has a pretty large following, and she has Tradwife aligned content. Because, she's the kind of woman who wants to stay at home, raise a family, be a wife, be a mom, and, oh my goodness, work in the kitchen? Absolutely crazy. And last but not least, down at the end of the article, they list Joel Salatin as one of these crazy extremists who claims that there's a homestead tsunami happening and that this homesteading can fix teenage adolescent problems. And so they list him as a crazy person. And then also down here, Turning Point USA, Alex Clark. I see, this is one of the things I'm happy. And it's a big moment for me to be listed with such greats. Like Turning Point USA and Joel Salatin and some of these others. Absolutely fantastic. You can check out the article over at MediaMatters.com and read it for yourself if you want to. And then, subscribe to some of these influencers that you may not be subscribed to yet. What do you think? Leave a comment below. I'd love to hear your thoughts on all this insanity and nonsense. But hopefully YouTube will let me keep this channel up. If it doesn't, I will have this video posted up, uploaded over at rumble.com. You should go over there and follow us over there just in case anything might happen to us over here at YouTube. And then also follow us on Twitter, also our website at AmericanHomestead.com. You can go to our email sign up on our main page. At some point, I'm going to start sending out email newsletters again. I'm having a hard time navigating this whole thing with email, and it's just, for some reason, my domain has been not blacklisted, but downgraded as not trustworthy. If any of you guys out there know how to figure this stuff out for email campaigns, if you have some knowledge, actual working, practicing knowledge in email marketing, please reach out to me at my website at AmericanHomestead.com on our contact page. I'm looking for someone to hire in order to get past this hurdle so that I can reach. I have a pretty large, email subscriber list, and I want to be able to connect with people in case something, again, might accidentally happen to me over here at YouTube. All right, guys. See you next time in the homestead. Bye. Have you ever gone to a health food store and seen all those small bottles of probiotics in your cooler section? Man, can they be pricey. Are you really getting all you need to improve your gut health from those expensive bottles? How viable are they? Most of those products claim to give you between 8 and 15 strains of gut-healthy healing bacteria. Think of each strain of bacteria as a different factory in your gut. Each factory is responsible for breaking down that food in its own way. The more factories you have, the more the food is broken down and the easier the food is absorbed and digested by the body. A 2018 study published by the National Library of Medicine shows that one fermented head of cabbage can produce up to 114 strains of beneficial bacteria. That's a lot more food factories than you're getting from that expensive pill bottle. And that's just cabbage. Imagine the probiotics when you add garlic, onions, pepper, and more to that ferment. PerfectPickler.com and its home fermentation kits provide you with everything you need to get started making your own gut-healthy food factories from the comfort of your own kitchen. PerfectPickler.com even provides a jam-packed recipe book with many of our kits. Visit PerfectPickler.com and start fermenting your own veggies to begin your journey to better gut health. That's PerfectPickler.com. Hey guys, did you know you can become a patron of an American Homestead? They get access to private videos, and we send them gifts from the homestead that we make here on the homestead. And we also enter our patrons into special giveaways that are only available to them. And before you go, please check out these other great videos. Go ahead, click. I'll wait.